Hey everyone, this is not my usual content, but I have personally been following this story for more than 10 years. I've watched probably almost 100 or more documentaries about this incident specifically. So if you like this video, make sure you leave a like on it so that I know you guys like it and I'll make some more like this. Biggest news I think of today is the Malaysian Airlines flight MH370 might we might actually be able to find it now because apparently the Aussies had some hydrophones that might have picked up some sound that could explain a bit more about the crash.
Newly detected sound signal could finally solve the mystery of MH370 after 10 years. Underwater microphones picked up a 6-second signal off the Australian coast, by Miriam Cooper. The mystery surrounding the lost Malaysia Airlines flight MH370 might soon be solved after British researchers found a signal that may lead them to the plane's final resting place after 10 years. Underwater microphones, also known as hydrophones, have reportedly picked up a signal around the same time as MH370 is believed to have crashed on March 8, 2014. The 6-second signal was discovered by researchers from Cardiff, who reportedly said that further tests would be needed to determine whether the sounds the microphones recorded could lead to the plane's crash site. The aircraft, which had 239 people on board, is believed to have run out of fuel and tragically crashed into the Indian Ocean after it deviated from its course from Kuala Lumpur to Beijing for unknown reasons. Despite extensive searches covering an area of 46,332 square miles by authorities from all over the world, the plane's resting place has remained a mystery for the last 10 years. A few fragments of the aircraft have since been discovered and a number of theories have emerged around what and who caused the flight to change course, but no one truly knows beyond reasonable doubt what happened to the Boeing 777. In the week leading up to the 10th anniversary of MH370's disappearance earlier this year, the Malaysian government backed a new no-find, no-fee search off the coast of Australia, but this was unsuccessful yet again. The starting point for the researchers in Cardiff was the assumption that a 200-ton aircraft like the MH370 would release as much kinetic energy as a small earthquake if it crashed at a speed of 200 meters a second. This kinetic energy would have been big enough to be recorded by underwater microphones thousands of miles away, two of which in Cape Leeuwin in Western Australia and in the British territory of Diego Garcia were close enough to detect such a signal. Set up to detect any violations to the Comprehensive Nuclear Test Ban Treaty, the operational stations are just tens of minutes signal travel time away from where the plane's last radar contact happened. The newly detected signal detected in the time window the plane could have crashed was only recorded at the Cape Leeuwin stations, which raises questions about its origin. Researcher Dr. Usama Kadri told The Telegraph, "Do you think the MH370 mystery will ever be solved? Yes. No." Dr. Kadri, whose expertise is applied mathematics, said that while the signal reading was not conclusive, it was highly unlikely that the sensitive hydrophones wouldn't have picked up the impact of a large plane crashing into the ocean. His team thinks that further research into the newly detected signal might finally solve the mystery, just like hydrophones helped locate the RSN Juan, an Argentine Navy submarine, that was found on the ocean floor of the South Atlantic a year after it imploded and vanished. To locate the wreck, researchers used grenades to emulate the explosion on the submarine and compared that signal with the one picked up by hydrophones when it imploded. This finally led them to the remains of the RSN Juan, which was located 290 miles off the coast of Argentina, nearly 3,000 feet below the surface. Dr. Kadri suggested that a similar experiment could be conducted to find the MH370 wreck. Should such explosions show similar pressure amplitudes to the detected signal, it would support focusing future searches on that signal. He told The Telegraph, "If the signals detected at both Cape Leeuwin and Diego Garcia are much stronger than the signal in question, it would require further analysis of the signals from both stations. If found to be related, this would significantly narrow down, almost pinpoint, the aircraft's location. But if the signal was found to be unrelated," Dr. Kadri said, "it would show that authorities might have to reassess the location and time frame of the expected crash, used as starting points in their searches so far." This is not the first time Britain has helped to narrow down the search area for flight MH370. As evidence began to point towards the plane heading west after communication was lost, London-based satellite company Inmarsat found that one of its satellites was receiving hourly signals from MH370 for 7 hours after it vanished from military radar. Although this confirmed that MH370 was still in the air for longer than was initially thought, the aircraft's location could not be tracked. It was also only at this point that MH17's time of disappearance from military radars was revealed as 2:22 a.m. over the Andaman Sea, some way west of the initial search area. Inmarsat's data could calculate an estimate of the aircraft's position based on how long transmissions between the plane and satellite took, and it produced a rough area after which the plane could have lost fuel or crashed. This was revealed to be an arc stretching from Central Asia in the north down towards Antarctica, crossed around 8 hours after takeoff, with the north of that area consisting of heavily militarized airspace which would have detected MH17. It was deemed most likely that MH370 crashed in the Indian Ocean. It is believed that the plane nose-dived or crashed in the minutes after 8:19 a.m. on March 8. More than a year later, in 2015, Malaysian Prime Minister Najib Razak says that a wing part which washed up on Reunion, a French island east of Madagascar, came from MH370. In the 2 following years, another 17 pieces of debris were found and identified as being very likely or almost certain to originate from MH370, while another 2 were assessed as probably from the accident aircraft.
Yeah, my biggest question here is, okay, Australia, if you guys detected this noise or you recorded this noise on your hydrophones 10 years ago when the crash happened, why did it take you till now to say something about it? Be like, oh, hey, we caught that on hydrophone. It's a little fishy, don't you think, that they took 10 years to be like, oh, hey, we caught that on audio. I could understand if it took them a little while to, figure it out that they had it, but like, come on, guys, like a month or 2 or 6 months or a year, that'd be reasonable. 10 years? What the fuck were you doing? Because, like, think about it. The way these underwater, like, anti-nuke hydrophones that these countries have in the oceans all around the world, the way these things work is it's just a microphone basically for recording sounds underwater. That's what a hydrophone is, for those that didn't know. And yeah, so these things they're just underwater microphones that are just constantly recording. All the time, they record everything. And they do have sensors on them to detect nuclear explosions. So, if anyone sets off a nuke anywhere, people know about it because they have, the underwater sound wave of it recorded. So they have physical, tangible proof that a nuke was detonated somewhere, within hearing distance of their hydrophone. Well, I remember when this crash happened, guys. Like, I remember watching the TV, watching the Australian Coast Guard and Australian Navy out there helping the Malaysian Navy and Coast Guard looking for this flight. Like, if you guys were out there dedicating so many man hours and so many resources to trying to locate this flight, who the fuck is the retard that didn't think, oh, if we're going to spend all these millions of dollars looking for this plane out in the middle of the ocean that probably crashed, why don't we go check out our hydrophone and see if that heard it? Because, a 200-ton aircraft crashing into the ocean is pretty fucking loud. And not only that, like, the plane was suspected to have crashed in the Indian Ocean, the side of Australia where that hydrophone was located on. So, it like why did it take them 10 fucking years to be like, maybe we should check that audio recording to see if there's a sound about when that plane crashed? Oh, what do you know? There's a sound about when that plane crashed. Oh, maybe we should have told everyone 10 years ago. Yeah, you fucking think, assholes? And I can fucking talk shit on the Australians. I'm half Australian, okay? So I can talk shit on them all I want. And all you Aussies, I'm sorry, but y'all fucking dropped the ball here, guys. Like, y'all fucked up. We should have had this information 10 goddamn years ago, guys. We might have been able to find this flight 10 years ago. Why did your government waste millions of dollars searching for this flight the old-fashioned way of, like, let's all get in a boat and drive around and see if we see any plane debris? Like who the fuck does that before they go, let's go check the audio file on our hydrophone, see if it picked anything up? Like, are you fucking retarded? Y'all gotta understand my frustration, right? Of like, this plane has been missing for 10 fucking years, and all we found is random pieces, strewn about on different beaches in the Indian Ocean. Fuckers in Australia had an audio recording of the whole goddamn thing, more than likely, and they didn't even bother to check it until 10 years later. And they're like, oh yeah, well that giant noise that we heard, that wasn't a nuke, but that was at the same time that the Malaysian's airline flight disappeared, so it probably was that. Like, it took you 10 fucking years to notice. What were you doing for 10 years? What were you doing? I want to know. Like, fuck, dude, I'm half Australian. Like, I get it. You get distracted over there, with your football and your kangaroos and your Aussie beers, but come on, guys. It was 10 years before somebody checked that shit. See, this is what's wrong with communism, guys. And I'm not saying that the Australian government is full on communist, but what I am saying is that it's turning communist. And a side effect of communism is inefficiency. And with this type of inefficiency, I mean, this is the level of inefficiency of like the Soviet fucking Union, Like this is the kind of shit I would expect from the goddamn Soviet Union in the 1970s or the 1980s, when everything's starting to fall apart. Not from Australia. Whatever. I gotta stop ranting. Screaming at the Australians ain't gonna fix this any faster. Although the Aussies deserve a good screaming at right now for taking 10 fucking years to notice. Sorry guys, but you had it fucking coming. Like 10 goddamn years, like come on. A year, we would have let that slide. But 10? Nah, bro. Somebody should have fucking checked that hydrophone within a year. Like, in my opinion, somebody should have checked the fucking hydrophone before even sending the goddamn Coast Guard and Navy out there to go look for the goddamn thing, Should have checked the fucking hydrophone and been like, oh yeah, we got audio of the crash. All right, now we know about the distance from our hydrophone where this crash was, so we have a, radius to search in. But no. Leave it to the Aussies to not check their fucking hydrophone data for 10 goddamn years. Sorry, guys. I love y'all over there, but it's a little fucked over there right now. Y'all need to get your guns back and take back some of the power from the fucking government, because it's just a goddamn nanny state over there now. It's not a government, it's a nanny state. The government knows best for you. Always listen to the government. Always trust the government. Never question the government.